Hey everybody, we are back today for some stoner rock, and in this lesson we're going to be doing a stoner rock solo etude, and I'm using the Line 6 Doom Metallurgy, and the preset is the lead preset, Rip and Tear. So it's a lot of fun to do, and in this etude we're going to be focusing on bending technique, and there's quite a bit of triplet playing as well, so it's a really cool solo to do and learn. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's check it out and have some fun. So there's going to be a couple of bars where we don't do anything, the drums come in. And after that then, in bar 3, we'll be beginning on the second beat. We're going to start out with a bend, and whenever you see the dot above the note, or I think in the standard notation it might be below, but in the tab it'll be above, that means staccato. So that means you just have to dampen it and make it choppy sounding. So if I play bar 3, you'll get an idea of what that sounds like. The bend should be using the middle finger, and you'll want to reinforce any bending you do. So in this case, the middle finger's down, we want the index behind it. If it's the third finger, then we want to put the two fingers, the middle and the index behind it. And you'll come to see that as we play through this etude. In bar 4 then, we're going to do a triplet into 3/4 notes. So let's do those first two bars, bars 3 and 4. After 2, 1, 2, rest. So that note at the 14th fret will carry over then into the 5th bar, where it'll tie into it, and then we're going to do another bend at that fret. So that'll be a 1.5 step bend, and it's going to be abrupt and choppy with a staccato. If you want to compare the pitch of your bend, it's easy to do. You just have to know the amount that you're bending, or what you're intending to bend up to. In this case, it's 1.5 steps. We're at the 14th fret, move up 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, play the note, bend up. I've got another triplet then in the 6th bar, which will just lead us down to the root tone at the 12th fret on the 5th string. So this is what we get so far. I'm just going to count the rest and then we'll come in. So here we go. Rest. So what I'm doing there on a finer level is I'm making sure to resolve to the root tone. In this case, that's the A note. We don't start on the A note, and that's not always what happens. You may start on different notes, but resolving is a good idea periodically, just to give finality to the phrase. Moving into bar 7 then, we've got a full bend at the 15th, staccato, and then another one straight after at the 13th fret. Rest. So a bit of a bending workout, and that's where you notice that my fingers are reinforcing. Pinky finger down, the other 3 are down. When I got the middle down, the index is behind. Also check your thumb position, make sure that it's up and over, and the crease of the thumb should be kind of just in this little edge here on top, on the neck, and that gives you the best leverage for the bend. We've got a bit of a swing feel here, but I've notated it as a triplet without the middle part of it there. So, for example, 13th fret, 2nd string, 14th fret, 3rd. If we were to pick it as a triplet, it might sound like this. But we're not going to play that second note, so it sounds like this. Almost sounds like a fire engine or something, or an ambulance. And then we're just going to do really easy stuff from there. So it's just going to be 12 and 14, staccato 1 on 14. The last one's actually a 1.5 step bend. That's what makes it a bit tricky, because we're going to bend that up 1.5 steps, then we're going to hold it and then release it. So I might just play these 2 bars. That'll be bars 8 and 9, so we can practice that. After 2, 1 and 2 and. That's a bit on the slow side. Let's do another bar before it and I'll play it a bit quicker. One more. Let's just practice the bend and release, or the bend, hold and release. That's a good idea to do, and it's out of the context of the other part, but we can just isolate it and practice it. Then we have bar 10, which is going to have a quarter note, a triplet, and 2 more quarter notes. And you want to slide out of that last note. Notice then after that, we're going to do, I think, pretty much what we did in another bar here, actually the bar we started with, which is this one. So it's rest. We've then got successive triplets to play in bar 12, which emphasizes the pentatonic sound. So we've got 14-12 on the third, 15-13 on the second, and 12 and 15 on the first. Do that again. And that bend will then carry over into the next bar. So if we play bar 12 into bar 13, this is what we get. So staccato on 15 on 1, bend full 15 on 2. And then in the 14th bar then, we've got more bending to do. So you'll notice here a heavy theme on bending. Do it again. We're going to repeat what we did in the 3rd bar and the 11th bar in bar 15. Except this time there's a note tying into it. But pretending it was just a quarter rest, it would just sound like this. Rest. So it's just exactly the same. And then in the 16th bar then we've got a triplet into 3 quarter notes. Now you'll recognize this from other parts that we've played. I think it might even be almost the same as bar 4 actually. Whereas in the 4th bar it was this. So that's a really cool thing to keep note of too, is that you can just do little variations occasionally to repeat the idea, but just with a little bit of variety, just to keep things interesting and the listener's attention. So that covers all the way up to bar 16. We're kind of on to the latter half of things now. Let's start with playing bar 16 into the next bar. We've got another 1.5 step bend in bar 17. After 2, 1, and 2, and. And actually what we'll do now is we might play the 18th bar into it as well. So we're going to play 16, 17, and 18 because it's more of a full phrase that way and the context is there. This is really the final part, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky because the bending we're doing goes up a bit higher right at the very end. So in bar 19, you're going to come in on beat 3. And that's where the bend will occur at fret 15. So it'd be like 1, 2, and that's just going to hold there. And then when you get into bar 20, you've got a triplet sequence. So you put those 2 bars together, 19 and 20. And then after that, that will tie into bar 21, where the 13th fret note will be ringing. And then we're going to do this. So let's play bar 20 into bar 21 so we get an idea of what that context is again. 1 and 2 and... Now let's do it a bit quicker. 1 and 2 and... Okay, on to bar 22. We've got that theme with the triplet without the middle portion of it. And then we're playing in bar, fret 15. And then we're going to pick it again and bend up. So this is what it sounds like. There's a rest in bar 23, so we don't have to worry about that beat. And then we come in on beat 2. And we're going to bend twice there. So let's play bar 22 and 23. Bit of a tough one there, the 15th fret, so just make sure you reinforce, but also notice that my index, it's wrapping across the strings, and what that enables me to do then is just cut out any extraneous noises that I don't want, and I also rest my hand on the lower strings to help prevent that too. Let's have a look at bar 24. This one's a bit of an oddball because we've got a bend release triplet without the middle part of the triplet there. So what I mean by that is what's going to happen here. So you'll just need to be careful there, but the general idea is to bend up, let it go, play fret 12 on the very last articulation of the triplet, and then do the next triplet with all the notes in there. So slow it down a bit. This is probably the hardest part, actually, for me anyway, at the end. Bar 20, it's a real humdinger of a bend, and as you get up here, actually, the string becomes more tight, so it's more rigid, and that actually makes the bending sometimes harder up here. So we're going to come in on beat 2. So if I count 1 and then come in on beat 2, we're going to bend up at 20, staccato, and then we're going to play fret 20 again, unbent, like this. 1. Notice the note at 17 at the end. That comes in right at the very end, and you'll notice I've notated it as a tie, so 20 from the previous articulation, tying into the 4th beat. But the first 2 parts of the triplet aren't there. It's only the last part of the triplet, and that's fret 17. So let's count through it and try it. So it's 1. And then we're on to the very last part, last 2 bars. We're going to play 20, 17, 20 staccato, 20 staccato on 1, bend up a full step, and then resolve to the A note, which again is our root tone. So this is a fun little lead guitar etude, nothing shreddy on offer, but there is the mechanics of the bending technique, which on its own is a rather technical pursuit for the guitarist. So indeed, this will be, if you're not used to bending a lot, probably a bit of a challenge, but it's a good challenge to have, and in fact, it will give you something to strive for and then incorporate into your own sounds, solos, techniques, whatever, later on. So have fun, and I'll see you soon for another lesson on another day. Until then, bye for now.